A response to comments. The first one, Big Pants says, is the new party based in Barnard Castle. Well, yes, I think probably it should be sponsored by Specsavers, should it not? That's the Dominic Cummings brand. And another point that has been made, if I can find it, Danielle King, Dinosaur, says, so the plague comes to town and all the priests get killed. So was that in God's plan? I don't think this is about God's plan. I think this is about the destruction of literacy in the clergy and therefore in the country. The only people who had an education were those people who'd gone through a clerical training. And that's why even today, if you go to the bank, and if you've got a bank that's actually got service, which is rare, the person who serves you is called a bank clerk. A clerk is a person who has a tonsure, who has gone through the first stages of holy orders in a monastery or in a priestly training system. And then they would routinely leave and go back into the community where they would act as clerks who could deal with legal matters and with basic contracts. You would go to see the clerk in order to sign a contract, in order to draw up a contract, in order to do basic law in the Middle Ages, when the majority of people could not read or write. Priests, because they'd been through this rigorous training, could not only read, they could also write. And very few members of the royal families could do both of those things. Charlemagne was famous. Charlemagne in 800 was famous for being able to read. It was rare. And so when the only source of literacy in Europe was destroyed by the plague, not only do you then end up with a priesthood which is supremely stupid, but you also end up with a gap in the market. This is then filled by the development of secular culture through the grammar school system, which is something that really we should be very proud of and we should be supporting. It was the grammar school system, the very primitive grammar school system, which starts, I think, at about the same time as the public school system. And it offers an opportunity, a more democratic opportunity for people to have an education. If you're not rich enough to be able to afford your own clerk, your own live-in clerk who can act as a tutor to your children. So that's one aspect. And as for Harry, Jane says, I thought Harry didn't want these titles, so it's no big deal. Huh? And someone else says that they know exactly who is feeding us this information. Well, I must say I don't. It doesn't make any sense. Whoever is feeding the information about Harry in tears is not doing Harry any services, is not doing us any services, and is simply milking the tittle-tattle of the red top tabloids, which frankly should have seen their day. So thank you very much for all your comments. And also Shari Whitman points out Charles passed that appointment down to William in August of last year. Harry never had it. Yes, exactly. This is tittle-tattle and it's nonsense. But thank you for all your comments.